I'm John.
And we're bucket list travellers.
And in this video, we're taking you on a food tour of hawker market street food in Singapore. Singapore is world renowned for its amazing food. No trip is complete without trying the street food at one of its many hawker centres throughout the city. We'll take the guesswork out for you by showing the best hawker centres in Singapore, as well as hawker food that you must try when you visit Singapore.
The first market we visited was Lau Pa Sat, right in the centre of Singapore City. Lau Pa Sat is one of the oldest markets in Singapore and is a perfect introduction to Singapore's hawker centres. We started with the popular Singapore street food dish of carrot cake. Be warned, it isn't the carrot cake you might be thinking of.
6 Singaporean dollars, and it's the savoury dish, I believe. It's a dark and a light version. So I've never had this style of carrot cake before, so I don't know if it's like a sambal sauce. There's a little bit of spice to it. It kind of looks more like an omelette to me. Yeah, I've never had anything like this before. It's really interesting. It's got the texture of kind of like a silken tofu, so it's like semi-firm. And then I can taste a bit of maybe some fishy taste to it, like a shrimp paste or something like that. It's got quite a bit of saltiness to it. The texture's really nice and it's very delicious.
Funnily enough, there are no carrots in this dish. The main ingredient is actually white radish, and Singaporeans didn't have a word for it, but carrot came close enough.
This is a great way to start our food tour of Singapore.
One piece of etiquette that you need to be mindful of when you're at the hawker markets is that if you see tissues on tables, it means the table's been reserved, so don't sit down there.
We're at the Ghim Moh market in Singapore and we're having a very typical Singaporean dish. So this is duck rice. Now it's been served with a broth and some chilli. Looks beautiful. So there's a lot of sauce on there and the duck's really nicely chopped. Very beautifully presented. That sauce is really, it's got a sweetness to it. It's very rich, really soaks into the rice. The duck meat is really tender. This is beautiful. This has made its way into the Michelin Guide and I can understand why. A little bit of the broth. So I'm not quite sure if I'm eating this properly, so apologies if I'm not. This is very salty. I think it's a soy-based broth. Yeah, let's see if you want to have some spiciness there. That gives it a good bit of heat as well. Yeah, so this is a beautiful dish. Definitely a must-have food in Singapore.
I've got the meat rebus here, and that was $3.50 Singaporean dollars, which is a bit of a bargain, I reckon. It's a yellow egg noodle based dish in a really thick gravy. So the gravy is peanut based, it's made out of sweet potatoes, which makes it really thick. And I think there's also some soybeans in there, there's curry powder, and it just looks very interesting. So I have an egg here. It's also been garnished with some shallots or green onions. And there's even a lime, which I will spread over the curry. Yeah. And there's even some shrimp paste here too, just to round out the flavours. So I love anything that's peanut based. I love satay, so I'm sure I'm going to like this dish. Yeah, it's good. You can definitely taste the peanuts. It's not an overly strong peanutty taste. There's not too much heat to this dish either, which is quite pleasant. Not that I don't like my heat, I do love my heat, but it's good to get a balance every now and again. Oh yeah, and you can taste the saltiness of that shrimp paste as well. Yeah, so a really interesting bunch of flavours here. A really cool dish.
I was very impressed with the hawker market at 20 Ghim Moh Road Food Centre. It's got a really good variety of food, lots of stalls, really good prices. The most expensive we paid was a bit over $5 and it was for duck, so that was really good. It is a bit out of the way. It's not as centrally located as the other hawker markets that we've been to so far, but it's really good quality, great atmosphere, highly recommended. Hainanese chicken rice is one of the Singapore favourites, and it's a dish that's simple but effective. So it's chicken that's been boiled with stock, and then it's served with rice, and we've got some cucumber here and a little bit of sambal. So this looks really beautiful. It's from Tian Tian Hainanese Chicken in Maxwell Center, and this is an award-winning Singaporean dish. That chicken is just cooked perfectly. It's so tender. The meat just looks really beautiful as well. I love the presentation. There's a bit of a gelatinous taste feel to some of the chicken as well, which is really nice. And then I haven't tried it with some sambal yet, so let's put some on. So that sambal gives it a nice little bit of heat, and then we've got some fresh cucumber to cool it down and balance off the dish. Bandung is a popular drink in Singapore, and it's rose milk. So this looks delicious. And it tastes as good as it looks. In making it, there was a rose-flavoured cordial that they had being mixed up, and then they just put some, I think it's sweetened condensed milk in it, but yeah, really delicious, very sweet.
I really like the feel of the Maxwell Center Market. It's more low-key than the other markets that we went to. It really feels like a traditional hawker market where all the locals go. The Lau Pa Sat market was a little bit more upmarket. It's right next to the financial district, so you get a lot of workers coming in there, and you get a lot more variety of different cuisines. So here it's more Malaysian, Chinese and Indian. And I found that the Maxwell Center prices tend to be a bit lower than the other areas that we've been to so far. The Chinatown complex is the biggest hawker market in Singapore, over 260 stores to choose from. Now, we have also found that some of the cheapest prices for food can be found here. This scrumptious looking dessert is called a kachang. Now, it's essentially shaved ice with different syrup drizzled over the top. So there's rose syrup, there's the red syrup, I forget what the green one is. It can come with red bean sauce, and I think this one's got corn in it. This variation of ice kachang has durian on top, a durian puree. Now, durian is known as the king of fruits. It's got a bit of a love-hate relationship with people. It's very tasty, very sweet, however it's really, really stinky. You will find in hotels in Asia that you'll see big signs saying don't bring durian into the room because it stinks out the whole room. So I've decided to get a bit of durian on top of mine for something different. This just looks really, really yummy. Wow, that's extremely sweet. Oh, yeah, that's really good. So normal ice kachang has sweetened condensed milk over the top. As I said before, this one has a durian puree, so it's just as sweet, and the shaved ice is really fluffy and light. It's just very sweet all over. The perfect dish for a steamy Singapore summer. So I got this ice kachang for 280 Singapore dollars, and this was found at the dessert station at the Chinatown complex.
This is Char Teow, which is a beautiful flat rice noodle dish. It's got a dark sweet sauce, lots of different meats, pork lard, I can see some prawns in here, all sorts of other different things. And it's stir fried with eggs. This looks delicious. Yeah, so you can taste a bit of a charred flavour to it. The Chinese sausage is beautiful. The noodles are really luscious and thick and just coated in that sauce. And the bean sprouts give it a little bit of vegetable content, a little bit of crunch, which is nice. So yeah, it works together quite nicely, and this is a beautiful dish. This doesn't have any spiciness to it, so if you're a fan of more milder flavours, then this is the dish for you.
I'm at Amoy Street Food Centre, and I've got the beef noodle soup. Now we got this from a store that's Michelin Guide, so I'm sure this is going to be really, really good. So the beef noodle soup's quite simple. So you've got very thin strips of beef. There's noodles in there as well. There's like a beef broth there. And then you've got shallots or green onions. Quite simple, but I'm sure very effective. This beef is really tender. It does melt in your mouth. It's really lovely, really nice. The broth has a nice beef salty taste to it. Yeah, it's just right. And I've also got this. It's ABC plus yakult. So A is apple, B is beetroot, and C is carrot. So quite an interesting flavour combination there. And it looks really pretty, doesn't it? Let's see how we go. Oh yeah, that's really nice. I like it. Wow, a winner.
Another piece of hawker market etiquette is to return your trays to the tray return point. So they're usually split into halal and non-halal areas depending on what food you've had. Breakfast this morning is at Old Airport Road Food Centre, and we have a couple of dishes here. So we've got some fried wonton noodles, and that comes with a little soup. And then we've got some dim sum. So this looks amazing. The dim sum were only 70 cents each, and the fried wonton there was $4.50. This fried wonton is an award-winning dish. It's been on Michelin guides, and it's got the fried noodles, it's got some greenery, maybe bok choy or something. It's got a steamed wonton and a fried wonton, and then a few pork pieces as well, some roasted pork. This looks delicious. So we got this with chili, and it does have a bit of heat to it. It's got a nice fried taste to the noodles, and oh, I'm looking forward to eating some of these wontons. The noodles are nice and soft, and then the pork filling is really delicious as well. And then the fried wonton. So that fried wonton's really nice and crispy, and it's got a nice bit of oiliness to it as well. Yeah, delicious dish, lots of different textures and flavors. Yeah, it works really well together. Great start to our day.
This is Rojak. So it's a really interesting dish. It's got a mixture of different ingredients to it. So it's got bean curd puffs in it, it's got cucumber, it's got pineapple pieces, it's just sprinkled completely with peanuts. The paste is a fermented prawn paste. So it just all accumulates into one really interesting and tasty dish. For me, it tastes a lot like satay. It's like having satay pineapple, satay bean curd puffs. It's really, really delicious. And here's some dough fritters. So the sauce is quite sweet, and you can get a chili option as well for a bit of heat. So we've opted for the chili. So it's just really nice. And this was a small Rojak for 350 Singaporean dollars.
one of my all-time favorite dishes is laksa. It's a beautiful soup in a rich coconut-based sauce. It's got noodles. This has tofu in it. It looks beautiful. This was only $4.50. Yeah, so it's got a nice bit of spiciness to it. The noodles are really soft. That tofu's really tender and it really soaks up the juices in the soup really nicely. It's a really luxurious dish. It's got a nice thick soup to it, very flavorful, very nice and warm, and oh, it's just beautiful.
I really like the old airport food centre. It had a big range of stalls covering Indian, Malaysian, Chinese cuisine. The prices were reasonable. They weren't the cheapest that we've seen in Singapore, but they weren't the most expensive. One dish that you should get when you're here is lor mee. Now, we didn't get that today because we were in a bit of a rush. There are really long lines at every stall that we could see that was selling lor mee. This has been one of our favourite hawker markets in Singapore, so make sure you check it out.
Tekka Centre is in Singapore's Little India district. It's a unique hawker centre that mainly serves Indian and halal street food.
Tonight we've got a really nice feast of Indian type food. Now the first one is roti. Now roti is Indian in origin, however it has a Malay name and it's adopted and eaten by the Chinese. So it's a truly multicultural dish. So it is like a flatbread or even a pancake that's fried. You've got a bunch of ingredients in there, so there's egg, there's onion, and we've got a special type of roti tonight, which is called murtabak. This looks really delicious. So there's just layers of roti with meat in between, and onion, and egg all fused in at the top. This is just perfect for dipping into that curry sauce. So the curry's not too hot, really, really yummy and delicious.
On my first international trip with John, we went to India and I discovered biryani and I've just been in love with it ever since. Rice that's been coloured this yellow colour with saffron, and it usually comes with a meat like chicken or mutton or fish. So this comes with a little sauce as well and some vegetables, and it's such a big serving size. I think there's also an egg here as well. So this looks delicious. And the people that served us, they were real characters as well. So it's really nice to meet people on your travels. I love the taste of saffron. It's beautiful. And yeah, it's quite a savoury dish. That is a well-cooked piece of chicken. This chicken was served cold, which I wasn't expecting, but it is very tasty. Whenever we have Indian, John always insists we have a mango lassi, and I'm not complaining because this is a delicious drink. So it's a mango with yogurt in there as well, and it's really cooling, which you really need with spicy Indian food. I think it balances it out nicely. The yogurt just makes it really creamy. The mango's really sweet and decadent. It's a beautiful drink and it goes perfectly with Indian food.
We're at the Tiong Bahru market at around 7:30 at night on a Saturday night. Now, I get the impression that it's more of a day market because everything's closing up, so we recommend you get here during the day. Nevertheless, we found something that we can eat. So this is an oyster omelette. So it's a bit different. We've never had oysters as an omelette before. Let's give this a try. Yeah, that's really interesting. So the omelette has the same texture and consistency nearly as the oyster, so it goes quite well together actually. Yeah, and the oysters, they taste really nice. really fresh.
Salty?
It's not as salty as I thought it would be, the oyster, so it's quite a clean taste. And it comes with some garnish as well. This is really nice and quite a decadent dish. So this was 7 Singaporean dollars.
This is Shui Kueh. Now, I believe it's a rice cake and it comes with toppings. So we've got chili, and I've been told that the topping isn't vegetarian. So I believe it's a fish-based, maybe shrimp topping. I can see some sesame seeds in here. And this looks very interesting. I'm not quite sure how to eat it, but I've been given these toothpicks, so that rice, it's really smooth and really gelatinous. The rice is all just melted together. You can't differentiate the separate grains. That's a really nice topping as well. If I had to guess, I'd say it was a shrimp paste or fish paste. But yes, it's really nice and salty, and then you've got the heat of the chili as well. Works really nicely together, and this is something we haven't had before, so yeah, it's a really interesting dish. I like it. Tiong Bahru is predominantly a Chinese market, so there's a lot of stalls that have Chinese food, but there are some others as well, like Indian and Thai. There's dessert stations, drink stations as well, and we found that the oyster omelettes seem to be sold in a few places, which we haven't seen in too many other food markets so far. So there's a pretty wide food court area. It's on level 1, so you need to go up the escalators to find it. On the ground level, there's more of a general market with food and other goods that you can buy. It's a pretty good market, but I'd recommend getting here early to get the best food.
Finally, we have an honourable mention for Makansutra Gluttons-based centre. This centre is particularly popular with tourists. If you have time, we'd recommend visiting the other centres first. If you are pressed for time, this is better than nothing and conveniently located on Marina Bay. It's more of an upscale hawkers market. It is catering to tourists more. You can even get an Italian hawkers market set of dishes, for example, which isn't particularly Singaporean or sort of local. It's very popular, very busy. We're here at 11 o'clock at night and it's still going pretty strong. The prices are a little bit more upmarket as well, they're a bit more expensive, but you can get some premium dishes, for example the Singaporean chili crab. They're going for around $45 per piece.
We hope you enjoyed our Singapore vlog. If you did, please give it a like. Do you agree with our selection of hawker markets? If there are any other Singapore hawker centres you recommend, please let us know in the comments.
If you like content like this and want to follow us on our bucket list journey to 100 countries, then make sure you subscribe.
We are Bucket List Travellers.
See you next time.